What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the virtual E3 and whether it is canceled or not. So this was something that Jeff Grubb had posted. I believe he posted on TikTok, but he also posted on his personal YouTube account, I believe this morning. And he's a little... It kind of goes back and forth of what he's talking about, so I want to kind of break down the specific words that he used so that we're all clear. But we are talking here about the digital, the online version of E3, because the physical version actually going there has already been called off. I think that the call off is actually a little bit too early to do something like that, but yet again, it is what it is, and we just have to accept it. So what he says in this video is that he first comes out and says E3 is canceled. And then he says, well, the physical E3 is canceled. The digital E3 is probably also canceled. That was his exact words. Now, a couple seconds later in the video, he talks about his Summer Game Mess as compared to Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, and he says how he believes this June/summertime is going to be Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, along with any publishers that limp into E3, so kind of like the stragglers. Now, what I see a lot of people kind of on Reddit, I guess, assuming or analyzing based off what he said, is any, if it is canceled, any publisher or developer that would normally go around June time would probably just do it. However, I mean, literally taking his words point blank range, right, probably does mean there could be an E3, but it's going to be maybe the most bare bones E3 that we've ever seen. Now, I've said it before, I'm not a fan of the term E3. I know people always get upset and say, how could you hate something like that? I just don't think, especially what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, you need to actually call it E3. I do understand the idea of getting all these publishers and developers together for like a 5-day period, for like a week period where they show their things and then everybody gets to go and you get to play it and you get to interview people and there's media stuff and there's regular, people that just kind of walk in like fans, right? Like, I get how cool that is. I get like the power there, but to be real, it hasn't been that in years, with Nintendo and Sony out, with, WB just being unwilling to do it in the first place, right? Ubisoft being just a shell of its former self. Bethesda comes in, and in past years, they've lied to people constantly, and now they're obviously a little bit better. But, what are you going for nowadays? So I personally think you can do it without the name E3. And I personally think you could do it a little bit more spread out, which is kind of what Summer Game Fest was supposed to be. Remember, Summer Game Fest was supposed to be this 2 or 3 month period where it was just going to be like, nonstop. Like every week, every 2 weeks would be new things from different publishers and developers. Now, the first year they did Summer Game Fest, it was horrible, and it wasn't like that at all. But I think there's potential to do that. If you can have June through August, and in those 3 months, you could have a Sony huge, like a PlayStation showcase. You could have an Xbox one, which the Xbox E3 last year was awesome, so just do that again. Nintendo's E3 last year was actually pretty good too. Do that again. You know what I mean? So if you just do those things, right, and you have WB, you have Take-Two, you have Ubisoft, you have EA, you have Bethesda, whatever, like, you can fill it. So I know I just went on a rant there of the value of E3, and I don't think, because people are freaking out, that there's no E3. I don't think it's as dire, or people need to be as worried, because E3, the ESA is a horrible company. Can we just remember that they're a horrible, horrible corporation, all right? So I don't really want anything associated with them, but I do understand it. I do get it. And again, based off of what Jeff Grubb says here, depending on which part of his minute video you watch, either it's completely canceled or it's going to be so canceled that, or I guess so close to canceled, that only like a fraction of what you would normally get from an E3 is going to happen. But again, to me, optimistic side, while also, I guess, being negative on E3, things are still going to happen. There's still going to be games that release between June and August. There's still going to be these companies that give us some sort of showcase or event. It just won't be tied to E3. And again, I get it. It's not in a nice little 5-day period. But personally, I don't know. It hasn't been good in probably 6 years, at least 6 years since the last, maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere around there was a really good E3. So that was like the last one. Besides that, they've all not been, in my opinion, so good. And especially last year, nobody even liked last year's E3. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. All my social media, my Twitter, my second channel, and our Patreon and YouTube memberships are in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.